I've been to third world countries. I've never met anyone there battling with mental health problems or obesity.
Okay, yeah, you want the people who are struggling to feed themselves to also go to like a trained medical doctor and be diagnosed with chronic depression? Like, I think they would first spend that money on, I don't know, drinking water and food. I investigated America's obesity epidemic. Video by Jesse James West. Okay, let's see.
This man is overweight, but is it his choice? Damn. Today I'm gonna investigate the—
Damn, that's a crazy opening shot. If you're the fat guy, that's fucked up a little bit, no?
Obesity epidemic, and find out if fat people are victims or if they're just lazy.
You can expect obese people to be a little bit lazier.
And I'm gonna talk to everyone on both sides of this debate, and I'm just gonna warn you, it gets ugly.
I think parents should be charged with child abuse if their child is obese.
That's crazy.
Is obesity a choice?
I believe obesity is a choice.
It is a choice.
Yes, 100%.
No, I don't think it's a choice.
Obesity is not a choice. It is a disease.
Yes.
Why do you think so?
Because you know when things start to get out of control and you just keep eating and not stopping. So I definitely feel like it's a choice.
Why do you choose to not be obese?
Because I like to look good in a dress.
I think, is obesity a choice? I mean, if we're gonna say it is, then everything's a choice. Being poor is a choice then. Being broke is a choice. You not being able to afford a home is a choice. Why? Because essentially they're saying that there are decisions that you can make that will lead to you no longer being obese. Well, technically, there are decisions that you can make that would lead to you being a billionaire, right? So, is it just a choice? Should we all shut the fuck up and stop complaining about that price of housing and all of that because you're just not making the right choices? And we know that wealthy people, children who are born to wealthy people, are more likely to become wealthy themselves. In part, yes, because of the things that they'll inherit, but also because of the things that they will learn and be taught. And so I'm a big believer in those who know better, do better. So yeah, technically it's a choice. They could make decisions that will lead to different outcomes. However, a lot of them are just not equipped with the right kind of knowledge.
She says it straight. She says it straight.
You want me to be honest?
I don't think it's always a choice. Sometimes with schedules, sometimes people don't know, like they have certain health conditions. Hormone fluctuations can really hurt, especially for women. No shade, but men.
If you don't already have a skincare regimen, you need one. It will make your life better. It has made my life better. I know that it's made my life better because I feel better about myself when I look in the mirror. You've never heard somebody say, I hate having clear skin. I know that my skin has improved since starting a skincare regimen because I edit my thumbnails. And when I edit my thumbnails, sometimes you try and, you touch up the blemishes, make sure that all the pimples aren't just popping out in HD, 4K. Well, I've noticed that ever since I have gotten on a consistent skincare regimen that I have to do it less. Sometimes I don't do it at all, honestly. And that's just because my skin has gotten better because for the first time in my life, I have consistently had a skincare regimen. And so get on Tiege Hanley because they have packaged everything in a very simple, straightforward, and effective package, which they're offering you 40% off by using my link in the description. You'll also get a free gift worth $20. What's in the package? Face wash, exfoliating scrub, AM moisturizer with SPF to protect your skin from the harmful rays of the sun, PM moisturizer, as well as a super serum that does all of the heavy lifting. Everything else is important, but the super serum is what revitalizes your face, brightens it, helps to even it out, and just will make you look better all around. Great offer, great package. Everything you need as a man for a skincare regimen is in this box. So go ahead and use my link down below and get a fat discount of 40%. I dare you to walk into your nearest pharmacy and find their skincare products on sale for 40%. Everything that you need. You're not going to, more than likely, but you're going to get that by using my link in the description down below. So go ahead and click that link. Thank you to Tej Hanley for being a reoccurring sponsor. Truly appreciate you. Let's get back to the video.
No shade, but men like my fiance, for example, he can eat anything and burn it off within like a week or two. But for women, we're meant to have kids, so we do hold fat.
What would you classify yourself as?
It's that gray area. Like I'm healthy, but I'm definitely obese. I need to lose weight.
What are you doing
Okay, healthy obese. I don't know about that one.
to fix that?
I'm here.
Let's go. She's grinding. She's grinding
but
right
hey,
now.
I
Do you think
I appreciate her going to the gym though.
airlines should charge more for overweight people taking up 2 seats, or should that second seat be free?
Free? Is that a joke? Nah, not free for the plus size, man. Why are you getting treated? You gotta work that off, man. Like,
Do you think they should charge?
yes, charge, bro.
If you're taking up 2 seats, you're gonna pay for those 2 seats because it's your choice to be overweight or obese in that sense. So why should an airline give you a discount or some type of rate just because you're choosing? Absolutely, you should not be able to get a free seat just because you're right.
I would love it if they did give a second seat free.
So are you on team free?
I'm on team free only because right now it benefits me. But at the same time, I do understand that just because it's nice doesn't mean necessarily that it's something that I'm entitled to. I mean, but they don't make it easier on you in the fact that they make things so expensive and the fact that they keep taking space away. Over the years, they keep making things more and more cramped, which makes things more difficult.
Opinions are
Yeah, personally, I think that's up to the airline. I don't give a fuck. It wouldn't bother me anything if airlines made that accommodation for people who are overweight. But at the same time, if I was a very overweight person, I would not expect that kind of privilege personally. But yeah, I don't give a fuck personally.
split down the middle, so I wanted to know what an expert thought. Dr. Mike Israel, pleasure. Great to see you. Is obesity a choice?
No. If you come up to people who have made a choice, let's say to wear a purple shirt today.
Okay.
They looked at 2 shirts in their closet, blue, purple. And you come up to them, you go, I got a magic pill that'll turn your shirt blue. They're gonna be like, I'm good, I actually chose purple. That's how you know they made an active choice. How many people can you legitimately come up to on the street and you say, hey, I have a pill that just completely eliminates all of your body fat? You're gonna take it, you're gonna just like zap into a lean person's body. How many of them are gonna be like, nah, I wanna be like this? Sumo wrestlers and almost nobody else.
Yeah,
so
that's another great point. How could it really be a choice in the way that we make choices between chocolate and vanilla, between Starburst and Skittles, right? How can it be that same kind of a choice if people would, if they could wave a wand, be in great shape overnight, they would. And so there is something else going on. It's not as simple as they just woke up and decided, I want to keep being fat today. You know what I'm saying?
That very, very direct reasoning, obesity is not a choice.
Everyone was comfortable sharing their controversial opinions when they were alone with me. But I wondered, what would happen if they had to confront each other? I got 3 fit influencers together with 3 fat influencers to see if there's a common ground on this controversial topic. Is obesity a choice?
I do think that it's a choice. I do not agree with being obese in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's a good thing in any way, shape, or form.
You can't argue physics, calories in, calories out. That's a scientific fact. But there's other hurdles that I've had to overcome with genetics that make it so much harder than the average person.
Just by looking at you, I can see you're lazy and lack discipline in that aspect. You know, I know just from talking to you guys that you are, you know, influencers, you're doing bigger things and, you know, probably have good work ethic when it comes to that, because I understand what that, we all understand what that entails. When that's all the data that you have, there's a judgment made, and, you know, for you guys, it's a negative one from healthier people physically.
Do you think that being obese means that you're lazy?
So the average analysis of like 100 people, obese versus not obese, is the only difference between them, randomized sample from the United States. By a small margin, you're gonna find more lazy people in the obese section. Because for any given level of food drive, which you assume is kind of average, if you're a little bit lazier, you get much heavier. If you're a little bit more diligent, you could say, you know, I'm gonna make healthier, better choices, really keep my weight under control. Probably most of obesity, laziness is not an explanatory factor, but on the margins, yeah, on average, not for any individual person, on average, yeah, you can expect obese people to be a little bit lazier.
Yeah, you know, I don't even agree with the concept of laziness. I think people do that which they are incentivized to do. And the reality is a lot of overweight people just don't believe they stand to gain more in terms of enjoying life more by expending the effort to become fit than they would get from just continuing their lifestyle, their unhealthy lifestyle of being sedentary and eating junk food. You get what I'm saying? Like, so for instance, right? If you're an overweight person, you might be thinking, all I will gain from losing weight is I'll look better. Maybe I will be a little less out of breath, but more or less, I'll still feel the same. I'll just look better. And if you're incredibly overweight, maybe now you're also contemplating, and now I'm also going to have to deal with having loose skin, right? But that truly is not an accurate representation of how good it feels to be in great shape and to be healthy. And so I believe that if you could like take a very obese person and give them like a day, like you give them a pill, and for a day, they would feel the way they would feel once they've reached peak health, and then the next day it completely wears off, they would start going to the gym and eating healthy right away because they're like, oh, wow, like I want that again. I want to feel like that. I think a lot of people just don't know. They just don't know how good it is to be healthy and to be in really good shape.
I went so many years of my life making negative decisions that in turn made me obese. I would have people say to me like, let's go outside and do something active. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to.
Heaviest I ever used to weigh was 310 pounds.
And what are you weighing now?
235.
So you've lost almost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I've lost about 65 pounds.
Oh, wow. Is it ever okay to be obese?
Yeah, it's okay to be obese by default. Like, you know what I'm saying? You look good to me, girl. Hey, any obese girls out there, you feel me? I'm married, but my wife and I, the bed is really big. But what was the question again?
To me, it's crazy that people don't prioritize their health. If you are so, overweight and unhealthy that you have incarcerated yourself in your own body and you literally can't do anything, like what good is money? What good is status? What good is anything without your health?
Believe me, I feel it. I mean, there's some days when I'm getting dressed to go out and like the way that I envision the outfit in my mind and when I put it on, it's two completely different things.
As influencers, we're all kind of privileged. I can afford a gym membership, I can afford nutritious food. What about the person who lives in a food desert? They can't afford a gym membership. They're working 60 hours a week trying to support their family.
Do you think those people are obese?
Myself personally, I used to live in environments where I didn't have access to, the resources as far as proper nutrition, so I had to literally go out my way to go get the proper nutrition. I refuse to be a victim of my environment, so at the end of the day, you gotta want it.
Do you think a person's weight is entirely their responsibility, or are there other factors?
Something can be entirely your responsibility, even though there are other factors at play. Like let's say a truck drives by and splashes me with dirty water. It's still my responsibility to get my shirt cleaned, even though it wasn't my fault. So obesity can be entirely not your fault. Usually it's not much your fault. Like you just have dog genetics for being fucking hungry and wanting snacks all the time, and that's just a real thing. The responsibility for your body belongs entirely to you. So it is absolutely your responsibility, but also doesn't have to be necessarily your fault.
Did you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's your fault. I think it is your responsibility though, right? Like, I don't want to get too deep into the concept of like free will and shit of that nature, but the reality is we are shaped so much by the things that we're taught, our genetics, the things that have happened to us since childhood. They're decisions that I made in the past that I 1,000 would not have made in the past if I know what I know now, right? If you know better, you do better. I truly believe that. I truly believe that.
Is the word fat offensive?
No, I do want to have the caveat for a lot of people who are overweight, fat, whatever word you want to use. There's trauma. We can talk about sensitivity or not. I'm not sensitive to it anymore, but I used to be. Society has turned that into a negative word. It is a descriptor word. I am a fat person. I've modeled for Columbia. I've done stuff for Eddie Bauer and other big companies, REI. I get in my DMs people who are larger than me or plus size like me or fat like me saying, thank you so much for putting yourself out there because you put yourself, I saw you in those clothes out on the trail, in the gym. I got the motivation to go do it.
I totally disagree with the plus size models and all that stuff because I think that it is advocating for unhealthy lifestyles and choices, and it's kind of normalizing it and saying it's okay to be this fat. I look at it purely as it's unhealthy.
So I got perspectives from fit people.
Look, a lot of things are unhealthy, right? A lot of things are unhealthy. I don't have a problem with plus size models. They're people, you know what I'm saying? Overweight people, obese people, fat people, whatever word you want to use, they're people too. And so I think there is nothing wrong at all with them being able to see themselves represented in media when in our reality, they're most of the people. Now, the grand majority of, well, not the grand majority, but I'm pretty sure over 50% of Americans are classified as overweight. And so, yeah, like I have no problem with that at all. But I do agree, trying to sell the idea that being obese is healthy or can be healthy, or being overweight is preferable to being not overweight. Literally, it has the suffix over, as in too much. How can having too much or too little, like it's like being underweight. How can being underweight or being overweight be better than being the proper weight or the correct weight for, of course, your body? And look, there is something to be said about the fact that a lot of weight standards are based on European genetics. I do believe that different people of different races probably are healthier at different body fat percentages, but carrying around extra body fat is not good for anybody. I don't believe so.
Fat people, and people in the middle of their weight loss journey. But I wanted to hear from someone who experienced both extremes.
My name is Simon Lafontaine. I was 372 pounds and now I'm a bodybuilder.
So you were once a very big guy.
Yes.
And now you're a literal bodybuilder. You went on stage, you won.
I won the overall summer shredding male
transformation class, right?
And the whole show.
You did?
The whole show.
Oh my gosh.
I had to change who I was completely. I had to kill my old self to be reborn into who I am today.
From day one, you stated your goal?
Yeah, I stated my goal. I'm gonna pick a date and I'm gonna pick and attend next year a bodybuilding show.
No. No.
Yes.
You're not.
I'm going to. And then I stayed up 99.999% consistent. I cheated once my entire
What
training.
made you make this change?
There was one very specific moment that happened. I turned around in bed and I was out of breath.
Wow.
I woke up, turned around in bed, I was like, oh, this can't be it.
How did you feel about your...
That's wild, bro. I can't even imagine that shit right there. That's crazy.
Yourself before you made this transformation, when you looked in the mirror?
That's a hard one, and I get emotional sometimes just thinking about it.
Okay.
But
Good for this guy, though. That's some real shit right there. And you swole as fuck, too.
And, oh.
That's okay.
I mean, like, I would avoid mirrors. And you don't really realize how bad that is until you get there. I used to make all these like self-deprecating jokes where I like, oh, I'll be dead before I'm 40. I'll be dead before I'm 50. And I didn't care, like that was fine. Like, oh, I don't need to work on my retirement fund, I'll be dead. Like it's all these little things. I don't do that anymore. But back then, it was such an intense lack of self-care.
How did you feel about yourself when you were 310 pounds?
I mean, I hated myself. I actually got like diagnosed with like high blood pressure. That was like the first time I ever had to be like on medication.
I hated how I looked. I didn't have any self-confidence. I felt miserable all the time. I was super depressed. My feet would hurt, my legs would hurt. Like I would lay down and have what I thought were growing pains, but they definitely were from being obese. I found that I would easily like sweat, just like sweating all the time.
Like body temperature is higher than usual?
Yeah. Absolutely. And once I started working out and moving my body every day and paying attention to what I was putting in my body, those negative feelings that I had towards myself, they disappeared.
And how do you feel about yourself now when you look in the mirror?
Oh God, I'm excited to wake up every morning. You know how crazy that is? I'm excited to wake up. I'm excited to
nah, bro, swole as fuck. I wonder if he's on the juice. He's probably on the juice a little bit, right? I mean, he's got monster quads, but that's the thing though. When overweight dudes like lose the body fat, it's like it's a swole dude underneath all that body fat. So maybe it's natural. I mean, you don't look that crazy, but his shoulders are very much capped. Like, these are very steroidy looking shoulders, but he could just also have great genetics and put in the work. It's not that crazy that he couldn't be natural. He might be natural.
To meal prep, I'm excited to go to the gym. I have a girlfriend now. It's like my entire life is
He's probably natural. Now that he's like turning around and shit. Yeah, he's probably natural. Great job though.
kind of came together so perfectly. And becoming this new person made me want to be alive.
The one part of your transformation, the most controversial part of your transformation, the weight loss drugs.
Yes, what would you like to know? I'm an open book.
So this is all medically prescribed to you. You're allowed to have all of this.
Yes.
Oh, he
all
got
of
on
this
the
is
Ozempic.
completely legal. I feel like the biggest issue is just there's a lot of misinformation online about what is a peptide, which is just a branched amino acid that's already in your body.
Yeah.
These are natural things.
And this all helps you lose weight as well. Along with the hard work, the cardio, the meal prep.
Let me iterate, then this is a very important thing.
Okay.
That I lost my first 105 pounds in 6 months completely naturally.
Wow.
It was essentially my choice because I wanted to see how optimized I could become and how far I could push this to try to achieve what I believe now is to be the most insane transformation on the internet.
Yeah, honestly it is. Would you say that using the weight loss drugs is cheating?
See, that's the thing. To cheat.
Cheating by what standards? Who's setting the fucking rules, man? Do whatever the fuck you want. It's your life. If you're not breaking the law and you're not hurting anybody, then who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the only way I would entertain this idea of weight loss drugs being cheating. You can't get away with anything in this life. You know what I'm saying? And so anytime something comes along that seems to be a shortcut, there is an exchange, usually. So what do I mean? All right. For instance, the smartphone, perfect example of something that has made our lives easier. It's so much easier to access information, for instance. However, as a result of that, people don't try as hard in order to actually seek out information and get it in their brain, so that instead of looking shit up on a phone, they have it literally in their brain. And of course, this results in people being dumber. And so there are trade-offs in everything. With things like Ozempic, from what I've heard, I'm no medical expert, but from what I've heard, is that what it does is it hinders your appetite, right? It suppresses your appetite. It makes it so that you don't want to eat as often or as much. Of course, this will naturally lead to you losing weight. However, you could still be eating a fairly unhealthy diet. You see, in order to lose weight without implementing strategies like weight loss drugs, you're more than likely going to have to change your diet so that you can continue to eat enough to the point where you're satiated while still having a caloric deficit allowing you to lose the weight. And that will require you eating foods with more fiber, less calories, leaner meats, whole grains, more protein, things that's going to keep you fuller longer, things that are typically healthier. Greasy, fatty foods are probably going to have to come off of the menu for the most part. That is harder to do. It requires more willpower, more discipline, but along with the weight loss will come your body just being healthier in general as you eat more nutritious foods. So with the Ozempic or weight loss drugs, not only do you run the risk if you don't make the decision to also change your diet, not only do you run the risk of still having a diet that engenders malnutrition and could be making you sick in other ways, but also you never learn how to eat properly. Now you're forced to take the drug forever, because as soon as you stop taking the drug and your appetite comes back, well, then you're just going to start eating more of the same shitty food that you never stopped eating, and you're going to gain all the weight back. And so that's the only way that I will like entertain this it's cheating mindset. However, I mean, nobody would say that about someone who drinks a ton of black coffee or uses nicotine. These are also substances that suppress hunger. And no one would say you're a cheater because you pop Zins or drink 3 cups of black coffee in the morning. So in that light, in that sense, I don't agree with this. It's cheating. I think it's fine. Just make sure you address the other shit as well.
To be cheating a set of rules. And who's setting the rules right now? You have these rooms full of incredibly intelligent psychologists, graphic designers, arguing over the size of a font, the location of it, and its color in an ad, spending billions of dollars trying to feed us this food. So who's really cheating here? Is it my little brain that can't fight billions of dollars of ads, or is it this little tool that makes me feel full?
That's also not a bad point either.
A bit longer.
That's a good point too.
Do we think fat shaming is good or bad?
I think it's bad.
I think it's bad as well.
I think it's good.
Is it ever appropriate to shame someone for their weight?
It's usually highly ineffective. For some people, it'll have an effect. A very small fraction of the population, that's the thing that gets them going and gets them to change.
Right.
Shaming people for a whole lot of shit, it's probably pretty fucking lame for adults.
I love my little brother, and like I was fat shaming him my whole life, you know, trying to get him to push himself to be healthier, hold himself accountable, make better choices. It's not healthy, and I want him to be around and live a long time.
But is that the best way to go about it though?
Definitely not. Here's the thing. Negativity begets more negativity. If you make people feel bad about themselves and they carry around that frequency, they are going to continue to operate in a way that brings about more of that frequency, which is feeling bad. And guess what's not in alignment with them feeling bad about themselves? Them losing weight, more than likely. And so fat shaming, making people feel bad about themselves, if your goal is to get them to make positive changes and have more positive outcomes in their life, then making them feel bad is probably not going to work, more than likely.
Is the question.
Bingo.
Well, I found that the best route of action to help your friends is to lead by example. You get what I'm saying? If they're your friends and they know that you love them and y'all have like a relationship that is in accordance with love, and they see you leading a healthy life, they're gonna want to follow you.
Is there no value in the truth?
But it's also in delivery.
I agree.
So I don't agree with fat shaming at all. I'm a very positive person, so I try to approach people in that way. I would try to reinforce that fat loss in the most positive way I can, but still let them know, hey, cut the shit and get to what you need to do, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna do it for you. Excuses are what the world is made up of nowadays, and I feel like a lot of the reasons why people don't succeed is because they blame outside factors and other people for why they aren't succeeding, and because they're not putting the time in.
I mean, I've definitely been fat shamed. I've been obese most of my life. I've definitely gotten a lot of comments, a lot of jokes.
I'm not going to fat shame anyone. I think that's bullying.
And I'm not saying that I advocate for bullies, and it sounds like all of you have been like physical, or you know, or harassed or bullied about your weight, right?
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Yes.
And I'll never be that guy, ever. I was fat shaming him my whole life. I think the softness of our society as a whole has led to, you know, more and more people being obese. You know, everyone gets a participation trophy, that kind of stuff. I regularly go 10 days without any food just for
What's wrong with participation trophies? Participation trophies are not first place trophies, nor are they second place trophies or third place medals. They're not. They're saying at least you showed up, because a lot of people don't even fucking show up. There ain't nothing wrong with saying, hey, at least you fucking put the shoes on and showed up. That's more than what a lot of people can say. Nobody's tricking these kids into thinking that their participation trophies are like this. That first place trophy is like that. You know, when you walk around with that first place trophy, you look at them little participation trophies and you're like, yeah, you and I are not the same. You know what I'm saying? But we don't need to like bro, we need to just stop being so fucking mean. Can we just not be like, ain't nothing wrong with being nice. You know what I'm saying? We can be honest and tell the truth. Like, yeah, you are crazy if you look at your little son who fucking has 2 left feet and he got his little participation trophy, and you look at him and tell him this trophy is just as important as that big shiny gold one. Yeah, then you're doing damage. But come on, man. We can chill the fuck out.
The mental toughness and discipline of it.
During the debate, everyone was mostly respectful. But as they got more comfortable with each other, they started to get more honest. Things got out of control.
That's why I really can't stand the mental health stuff, because I'm like, you guys don't have real problems. Like, suck it the f up.
There are people themselves.
I think parents should be charged with child abuse if their child is obese.
God damn.
It's a first world problem. I've been to third world countries. I've never met anyone there with battling with mental health problems or obesity because they have.
This man is a fucking couch chewer.
Real problems. You guys are arguing for obese people, and I would say you guys are.
This man is saying because they don't have the facilities, the doctors, the trained doctors and professionals, and the access to the clinics at a large scale like we do here in America, where they can go and be diagnosed for these sorts of things, it means that it's not even happening. No, sir. It's just that, yeah, like, okay, yeah, you want the people who are struggling to feed themselves to also, what, go to like a trained medical doctor and be diagnosed with chronic depression? Like, I think they would first spend that money on, I don't know, drinking water and food. You get what I'm saying? And of course, we're talking about really impoverished third world countries at that point. It's a spectrum. There are countries that are considered third world that are actually pretty developed. But anyway, it's an obsolete way of characterizing nations. But anyway, yeah, this guy, he just has hatred in his heart. That's what it is. You know, it's just unnecessarily being mean. You know, it is what it is.
Arguing for obese people, let's make that very clear with that.
Okay, well,
it's just people in general.
At the end of the day, you are choosing what you refuse to change.
If you want to change, you can make a change. Nobody gonna help you but yourself.
All the resources that we have, like it definitely is a choice. We live in the future. You know, we have the whole world in our pockets.
When you are eating from a sustainable approach, then it makes it so that you're able to still enjoy those foods that you like without going overboard. And that's something I've learned a lot in the past few years about watching a lot of different YouTube videos.
Again, why aren't we all millionaires? If becoming a millionaire is just a function of you making different choices, then why aren't we all millionaires? Why are you choosing to be broke, sir? Listening to this, why are you choosing to not make $1 million a month? Can you stop doing that? I want you to choose to make $1 million a month and then start donating some of that money to me. How about that? Yeah, for all the entertainment I provide to you. Yeah, technically, where we are in life is all a result of choices, right? Of course, we have limited choices to choose from. Not everyone has the same choices presented to them. But something like, yes, being overweight, I would say the grand majority of overweight people, if they were to make different choices with their lifestyles, they would feel better. But the reality is a lot of them don't even know like how to execute on those choices. And there are other mental and spiritual roadblocks that prevent people from making those choices on top of ignorance. And so, yeah, it's a very unfortunate thing. I heard this one saying, someone taught me this saying back when I worked in retail in college. I was like 19. Someone said to me, this was in the context of responding to an angry customer. If you ever get on the phone with an angry customer and they're complaining, I was told to say, if I were you, I would feel exactly the way you feel right now. It doesn't matter if what they're saying sounds irrational or unreasonable. This is how you respond. And when people hear that, it is very good at de-escalating the situation, right? And it's a way of saying, even if I don't see things the way you see it, from my point of view, from your point of view, you're right, because everybody feels like they're right from their point of view. And so, yeah, that's true for shit like this. The reality is those overweight people that you look at and judge, the reality is if you were them, you would be overweight because you'd be them. You'd have their genes, their life experience, their brains, like everything, their parents, their upbringing, all of that. You would have all of those things. And if you had all those things, guess what? You'd be them. So, you know, we can be a little bit nicer with shit like this.
I'll watch some of yours too.
So that's the video. That's the situation. But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section down below, man. I'll be interested to see it. Y'all already know how I feel. Thank you for watching. And until next time, peace out.
Remember to use my link down below to get 40% off your Tiege Hanley skincare regimen and claim your free gift.